Good morning, everybody. This is Becky here at Ampex Creations, and I'm coming on later than I used to, but earlier than I wanted to, because we are expecting, starting at 10 o'clock this morning in my area, some very rough weather. They're saying that it's going to spawn a bunch of tornadoes. So we'll see. We'll see. And I feel kind of bad for my Instacart person because I set up a delivery between 10 and 1, and that's like right when the storm is supposed to hit here. So to my Instacart driver and person, I am so sorry. I didn't even think about the storm, and I can't change the time. Once you set the time, they won't let you change it. And I was thinking I could change it till tomorrow, but it won't let me. So I feel kind of bad for the person that's getting my Instacart this morning. Anyway, we did these last week, and I've cut them into the postcards, and I've added a border. And then I've got these 4 left, and then this 4 I've added. A rainbow is a promise of sunshine after rain, of calm after storms, of joy after sadness, of peace after pain, of love after loss, unknown. So there's that one. And then this one says, you'll never find a rainbow if you're looking down, Charlie Chaplin. And then this one I put, the way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain, Dolly Parton. And the last one I put, dare to love yourself as if you were a rainbow with gold at both ends. Author, poet, Aberjani. So that's what I'm going to do to the other 4 eventually, but I've got to find some perfect rainbow type quotes to add to those. So that's a share. And then I did some just playing with some watercolor crayons. I did this on my own the other day, and I used my dimensional paint that I got in my last Jerry's Artorama, I think is where I ordered from. So I added some of that. So you can see it's kind of raised. It's pretty cool. It's got a learning curve because if you get too close, it gums up the tip. And then I did this watercolor bit, just goofing around with some watercolors. And I'm going to do some line work on that. But those will be postcards. And then I have mail to share. I have... this one came from Arlene, and she put it inside to protect it, and it made it. And look, it's a birthday card, but it's got wiggly bits in the sunshine. Isn't that cool? And then there's a message from Arlene, and she put it on a Posty-like thing. If I wanted to, I could take that off and reuse it, but I generally keep the cards together. So that one was from Arlene, and I don't want to share her address, so I'm being extra careful. This one was from Barbara Clark, and she included a cool bookmark, magnetic bookmark or paperclip. I don't know. And that was from Barbara Clark, and this was the slide-on bookmark. So those were from Barbara Clark. Sorry, Kitty. Let's see. Then I got, I think I already showed you the ones I got from Ann and Dee Dee, but I'll stick them up here. That one was from Ann, and this one was from Dee Dee. Thank you guys, girls, gals. And then I've got other mails here that this is from our Rose. And Rose, because of her vision problems, she still watches occasionally, but she has to be careful. But she made a beautiful card for me here. So there was that one. And this was just some happy mail from Carol. And she said it's just a bit of happy mail. But look at that. Isn't that lovely? And then a bunch of little bits. And see, she stitched on this, and I can add that to another stitch. And then she punched me out some postage stamp squares, and there's some labels and tissue paper in here and some stamped images to color. But that is lovely. Stick that there. I'll just set that with her envelope. And then this came from Beth Schuler. And it's got St. Patty's Day leprechaun-y in it. And then if I remember right, it was a bunch of stickers and die cuts. Yes. So that's my happy mail. Hi, Ruth. Good morning. So let me see if I can put everything back in the right envelope. So that was from Beth. This is Dee Dee's, and Ann's were over here. And then Carol's were together here. Oh dear, I don't know if I can get it back in the envelope. Oh, get down in there. And this is Rose's and Barbara Clark. I'm trying to put them back with their envelopes. And this was from Arlene. So that took care of that. Oh, and I wanted to let you guys know the fan we got at Costco, I am so enjoying it. And I wasn't paid to promote it, but it's an awesome fan, and you can get different speeds and breezes, and it's just a wonderful fan. It was like, what was it, $38? And I'm thinking it will save us a ton on AC because I can put this on and up the AC so it doesn't have to run so much this summer. I've got the fan on right now and no air conditioning, no heat, nothing. We are going to dip back down toward freezing after today's storm passes through, which is crazy. And it's going to be cold all week with lows near freezing. So we'll see how we make out. Hi, Helen. Hi, Lala. I ordered this when I ordered something else from Thrift Books. But Tilly Rose was a author. I have one of her books, but then Carol recommended Tilly Rose again, and so I went looking to see what was available on Thrift Books. And this one's all about wildflowers, and I've been following along with I just looked at her sweet face this morning and thought, I've got to watch that. Brain is like a sieve this morning. I'll remember it and I'll let you know. So this has got all our other mail shoved in it. Casper would like us to buy a mattress. And the Audubon Society wants me to give them some money. And the gastrointestinal doctor wants me to send him another $168. So there's that. But this book came Saturday. This says, come and join Tilly's Slow Stitch Cafe launching spring of 2024. I guess you scan that QR code. I'm not a big QR code kind of scanning girl, and I can't stand that everybody's wanting to use an app. I'm sorry, I don't want to be tied to my phone for every flipping thing I do. I don't. I'm old school. Give me a calendar on the wall. Call me, talk to me in person. I don't want to be attached to a machine 24/7. The only time that's going to happen is if I'm on life support, okay? Wow. Anyway, this looked very intriguing, and it's all about stitching wildflowers. And I thought it would give me the guidelines of how to do it, stitching flowers with thread embroidery. And that'll go along with the big botanical book that Scott got me. So I got this book to learn to stitch. And then the book Scott gave me, which is over here. I've got to find a place for some of this stuff. this one's a Curious Herbal. This is the book Scott got me. It's a honking book. I saw it at Barnes and Noble, but they wanted a lot of money for it. But see, I thought how fun it would be to stitch these. Aren't they beautiful? These are plates. So pretty. That one would be beautiful to stitch. That's the True Sweet Gum Cistus of Candy. This shrub grows to be 2 or 3 foot high. The leaves are a grass green. The flowers a pale red with a large purple spot in the end next to the seed vessel. So it gives you a description of the colors. Just flip through this a little. So this will go with like my botanical stuff. So there's a couple books I shared. And then I thought we'd play a little bit with that reverse painting. Let me show you. Like these. I did this cat. This is supposed to be Tippy. And so I did this cat in this technique. And then I did these leaves. And they started like this. These are just tiny little pieces of painty paper that I've saved. Hi, Safia. And I just glued them down randomly because it's not going to matter once you draw your shape and you do the, you knock everything around it to the background, and then you only add color to the edges and you leave some spots where the original paper shows through. And I just think it looks so flippin' cool that I want to do another one. And I've been wanting to do this with you guys today. So now we just need to decide, what do we want to do? I really like to do the leaves, but I don't know. What should we do? Well, we've got St. Patrick's Day is coming up. We've got Easter is coming up. So I take a pencil and I draw my shape real light. So you guys might not be able to see it because I don't want to make it too dark because I want to be able to cover it. I'm trying to think of what shape we should do and which orientation do we want our card. I'm kind of leaning toward this. So the card would open this way. And I will mat it and put it on a card base like that. So to do that, I've probably made this. Let's measure this. This is actually 5.5 by 4.25. So this would fit directly on a card, regular bought pre-made, what is it, A2 cards. But if you wanted to mat it and have it fit an A2 card, you'd do a 1/4 inch smaller to take into account your mat. Or yeah. So 1/4 inch smaller, 4.25 by 5.5. That's your card size. Then your mat should be 4 by 5.25. And then this piece, if you wanted to cut your bases, it would be 3.75 by 5. Okay. That way, this is the layers to make an A2 card. If you have, like I do, hi Dar, a bunch of pre-made cards that you're trying to work through, the card is this side. So this is the card. And I always love to mat with black. So I do a black mat. And then my focal piece would be the 3.75 by 5. Oh gosh, let me open the door. So they've got the zoomies. You guys want to go in and out? Okay. You're such a little turd. Okay, there you go. You can play now. Go, go, go. Howard's just loving the new setup in the front room. And he was cutting up so bad last night. We didn't think we were going to get any sleep for listening to him tear up and down that wood floor. It's the best thing because you can get going and then you can slide. So anyway, so that was my measurements. I'll put those measurements in my description box. So that's just kind of my standard go-to measurements I use when I'm doing A2 cards. So because I made these from scrap I had laying around, I had to make my cards bigger. And I ended up having to make these cards 4 3/4 by 6. So these are big cards, these here, 4 3/4 by 6. But if you use that other formula, then you can make more cards out of one sheet of paper because you're cutting an 8.5 by 11 in half and then in half to get it. But this will be another big card. So let's see. What do we want to draw? What do we want to do? You like the cat one? Yeah, that was fun to do. That's my Tippy. My Tippy cat. He looks just like Tippy. Maybe we could do a bunny for Easter. Y'all want to do a rabbit? And then I'm thinking he needs to go this way. So we do like a circle head and a circle and oh. All right, let's draw an ear. I'm going to have one bent ear. And like I said, I don't want to make this too dark. And draw his head here. Let's see. I don't want to make this too dark because like I said, I'm drawing it so I can't hardly see. This is his belly here. So his other leg needs to come out about the same place. And they do kind of hold their little paws up when they sit up on their haunches. And it is kind of hard to see what you're doing when you're laying it out. All right. So you just want your basic shape. If you have trouble drawing, I would suggest going on and Google for simple coloring sheets that are just shapes. And then you can use those. Oh, I'll watch when I get off from here. And you could like trace around them. You know, if you want to like transfer a coloring image, do y'all remember how we did that? You turn your sheet over and you just scribble, scribble, scribble on wherever there's lines, and then you turn it back over to the image and you just go over the lines, and that'll create a graphite dotty line looking thing. So I've got some water and I need a paintbrush, and then you want you really want a way to water your paint down. So whether you put it onto a tray or something like that. Just a way to add a little bit of extra. I'll just use one of my leftover laminate sheets. And so I want some kind of either cream or white to do the background. And then for my bunny, I'm going to do just a little light tan color. So let me grab those colors. Oh, and maybe a little bit of pink. Let's see. Let's do I can always add just a little bit of white to this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our shape so that it's brought to the front. Oh no, he left a footprint in a cake. That is a menace. Oh, we need a paintbrush. And I like an angled brush for this because you can tip it and get you just a tip. You know, you tilt your brush, or you can cover a whole area flat. So I'm going to bring some water to it and just pull that out so it's watered down. And then you're going to come in and we're going to go around him. So like right here, just cover it up. And the bunny will start popping. But see, you want it just really light. That's why I say water it down. I would say just make sure that your paper is well dried. The glue, and this is well dried because I did this like last month. So I'm just following my pencil lines and knocking this to the back. Let's see here. If I can see my own lines, that would be good. I'll let the neighbor's little crippled cat, because they don't take care of her at all. I put her in our garage with fresh food and water. She's got her a box in there and a litter box in there. I just feel bad for her in storms because she can't run very fast, and they leave under their house open for the stray cats. So the stray cats go under their house, which I would never allow because they dig into your furnace handling stuff. But you can see how this brings the bunny to the surface. And I learned this technique in one of those taster weeks. You know, you'll see them offered up. Try us for a week, and then they want you to buy the membership. But I just don't feel like I have the funds for things like that for, you know, a whole year of something. I just don't feel like I can justify the expense. It's my upbringing. It doesn't feed me. It doesn't clothe me. It doesn't shelter me. So basic needs were always taught at my house with my grandmother, who's raised 9 children through the Depression era. So and our bunny's coming to life here. Let's see here. Sorry, I have to kind of pay attention or I'll go over my own lines if I'm not. And you can always, if you want it to be a little pushed a little farther back, you can always go and add another layer. So if you feel like you haven't covered enough, because, you know, it's a personal preference, really. cats are so hilarious. Let me see. I'm having trouble seeing where. Oh, I see. This side his ear is down here. I have created quite the mess here in my room because things I had shoved in on the dining room table, they've got to find a home because I want the dining room table. Oh, now see, I went over his leg there. So I'll grab a wet one and see if I can take that back off from there. Just like that. As long as you hurry, you can usually wipe it right back up. So I've got a mess to clean up. I still have things to move, but a lot of it is stuff that I'm going to need help moving. I can move my books, but it takes me a while because I carry like a few books at a time. Greg helped me with my big green shelf yesterday. And the rest of my books are in those wooden crates you can get at Michael's, which, by the way, have gone up to $14 a piece, which is crazy. And if you get it to where you think you've gotten it too dark, you can do some lifting while it's wet. See, I think I've still gone into his leg right here. Maybe not. Maybe, no, I was right. It's okay. We can put it back. No biggie. Easy peasy. And birds are singing like crazy. Okay, now we got to do this little bit down here. I have to keep knocking my glasses back because they fall forward on my face. I should have got them to adjust them when we were at Costco. So that's where I got them. Oh, and we tried the $1.50 hot dog special. Yuck. I didn't like them. Sorry, Costco, I don't like your hot dogs. But then I don't like Hebrew National hot dogs either. They're tough. All right. So there's our bunny. So I'm going to start painting on the bunny a little bit. Morning, Josie. Let's put some of these two browns out. I got a light mocha. A little pile. Whoa, that's more than a little. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of this dark brown down. I'm just going to use the same brush. And I'm just going to, and remember, when you're painting it, you don't want to cover the entire bunny. You want to leave some of the color. So I just do the edges and then I make adjustments as I go. And then his belly comes right here. looking to see what we got here. Honey, I don't have room for you right now. I know it's time for your medicine, isn't it? Oh, by the way, Safia, I found a pill like the little devil spit it out on me the other day. I found one of his pills laying in the bed. I was like, you little shit. And he just looked at me like, made you think I took it, Didn't I? What he doesn't understand is those water pills are what makes him feel good enough to play. And before I can take and get that filled again, he's going to have to go in for his checkup and shots and stuff. So I need to make that appointment. Just took off as much paint as I could and just kind of rubbed this out so it looks more like a haloed color over some of this. Like that. That looks better. We're just going to leave this side. I should have done this on this side. You just have to play around with this a little bit. Let's see here. And I'm not picking up a bunch of paint when I do this either. It's almost dry brushing. These are fun to do, and you can use up your paper scraps. Like Anne came across that whole bin of paper. That stuff is like perfect for this technique because you can just slap it down on the paper, on your base paper. Tippy's doing okay. He's playing like he used to. He's kind of a nuisance because he's always wanting attention. But I would rather have him that than sleeping all the time and having trouble breathing. To know exactly what's going on with inside his chest, I would have to take him to a cat cardiologist, she said, or a cancer doctor. And I just don't have that kind of money. So we're just going to make him have his best, whatever time we have left with him. Which right now it seems like that could be years. So, and they're already they were a litter, and they're siblings. Callie, Howie, and Tippy are all from the same kitten litter. There was another kitten that didn't make it. One day, the mother cat showed up at the cottage, and she didn't have the fourth kitten. So we think either a coyote, fox, hawk, or something got the other kitten, or it got hit by a car or something. But anyway, we ended up rescuing and adopting an entire litter of kittens. And right now we're at full capacity. On kittens. I wish I could adopt them all, but I just can't. We'd be in the poorhouse trying to adopt them all. There's a piece of Tippy hair or something right there. It's glued down. It's not going anywhere. So I'm just laying in my shape right now. And scrubbing out until I don't have any paint left. Yeah, Tippy's due for his shots. Juanita is the outdoor cat. I did have Spade. She comes around occasionally, but she's one of the reasons I've decided I'm not going to go to the expense of spaying and neutering, because it's like, she's like, thanks for the surgery, now piss off. And she just does her own thing. She's not an affectionate cat. At all anyway. She doesn't like to be held. What is it with female cats? They don't want to be loved and given affection. My male cats are so much more affectionate. Like Callie, she'll let me hold her, but not with a lot of bitching and complaining. And Piper's the same way, Greg's cat. So we have the 3 cats from the litter, and then my son has 2 cats. One was another rescue from in Greenville that we brought down to give his little cat, which I'd gotten him a kitten when we had to move away from him. Our son, we moved out of the house. He stayed here and took care of the house while we weren't living here. But I didn't want to leave him with no companionship, somebody or something to come home to. So I got him a kitten, and that's Piper. And she can be a real menace herself. And she weighs about 16, 17 pounds, and she's about Tippy size. So she's a bit chunky. She's a little chunky girl. And if you mention it, she'll leave the room. Like, she was in here the other day, last week, and some of the ladies, they were like, that's a fat cat. And she just put her ears flat to her head, and she turned and she left. She was like, if y'all are going to talk to me like that, I am out of here. Now, I'm not liking how the ear is going over here too much, so maybe we'll make it more rounded than what my line is. All right, so I got kind of the shapes I want. I'm going to come in with some of the darker brown, maybe water it down a little. Heather's here. Hi. Hi, Heather. And I'm watering this down a lot. And then we'll just pick a little bit up. And then wherever I want it to have a shadow, like under his belly right here, we'll put some of this black. Y'all keep Esther, Artful Esther, in your hearts today, because she's having hiatal hernia surgery. She sent me a message on Shannon's post, because Shannon is art junkie and she's healing from carpal tunnel surgery on her hand. And I had left a comment that I guess this should be known as March, the scar month, because I got a scar. Shannon's got a scar. So yeah. I don't like that. So I'm going to bring in some of my tan back. Maybe put some more of my tan back here. Oh, what's Josie? I missed something. Oh, I'm sorry, Josie. It's hard. You get so attached to your pets. They're like children. Definitely. All right. It's here. I'm hoping Scott and Greg can get home safe because about the time they're due home, we're supposed to still have some of that nasty storm hanging in the air. Got to keep reminding myself I don't want to cover everything. You want some of the bright colors to shine through. So let's put some of this dark brown down here. And I'm picking up like the smallest amount of paint possible here. Okay. All right, I'm going to put his little arms in here. And I'm just scrubbing the little bit of paint, spreading it out a little bit. There we go. Let's see if I can do that again on this other one. This one I'm having trouble because I can't hardly see my line. You gotta hold your mouth just right. There we go. Maybe we'll put a little bit of the tan on also to just go. I'll look at chat here in just a sec and try to catch up with you guys. The key is to not go too far with your colors. It's to know when to stop because you want the color of the your background to. There we go. And you can lift some and spread it out thinner if you're quick about it. This has just got dirty water on it right now. All right, I want his tummy to have a little bit more of this on it. And then kind of brush it out so it fades away. And I usually have a little tuft of white. Lighter color. All right. Okay. Okay, I'm going to get some black to put some eyes on. Here. Oh. With moving the furniture around, we also found a bunch of missing in action toys, mice, chirpy birds, that kind of thing. So they've been having a grand time re-exploring those. And I think I want something that's easier to make a round shape. So let's get a round brush. I know their eyes aren't really this big, but hey, it's my Easter bunny. Whoa, this one's too low. Oh, all right, let's see if I can. Let's get a tissue. Yeah, Josie's been having to really do a lot of work to take care of her baby. kind of a creepy rabbit right now. It'll be all right. It'll be all right, all right. Let's take care of some of this paint because I've got way too much paint out. So I've got my little paint grab stuff. Putting these pieces of laminate sheets that were offcuts in between is really a good thing to do. Put the last of that washi tape on that page. And then when I pulled the this stuff up, it made really shiny spots. Can you see the shiny spots? And I can't figure out why it did that just from these laminating sheets. But I thought, how cool is that? This is the little journal Janice sent me. We don't want to waste our 89-cent paint, do we? Used up the pink. Maybe I'll use up some of that other. All right, let's see what we can do about shaping the eyes a little bit better. I'm going to give him some eyelids. With the brown. Put a little bit of this lighter color up here. It's looking kind of mad now. Uh-oh, that wasn't dry enough. I thought goofing around with the paint would have dried it faster, but that's okay. We can always rinse this brush and I'm almost losing some of the coloring. I think I've gone too far. I don't know that I can lift it now. It's too dry. It really is, you got to just time everything right. Okay. Ah. Bunnies don't really look straight on at you. Their eyes are on the side of their head because they are prey. They're not a hunter animal. They're a prey. They're the side of the prey hunter situation you don't want to be. But I can't seem to get this brush to do what I want it to do. But he'll still be okay. Okay. Let's do something under this eye. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop before I go too far with him. And we can come in now with our, I'm just going to use a big pen and we'll see if we can bring him back to life. And I just use my drop paper as my clean off. And I don't want perfect lines. I want kind of sketchy looking lines. I'm going to let his face dry a little bit more before I go in there. And I don't know if Janet is home and going to do a live today. So I'm not sure about that. All right. So now I'm going to go over his nose. And bunnies do have whiskers. Maybe not that big of whiskers, but hey, my rabbit's doing its own thing. And give it some lashes, because rabbits have big, long, pretty lashes. When I was very little, we raised rabbits. All right, so there is my rabbit. And I just got my new gel pen in, so let's see if he's writing. And just give him a little blippity dip on the eyes here. And then you can come in and you can doodle in stuff on your creature as well if you want to. But I think he turned out pretty cute. It's almost like the background isn't knocked back far enough though. So I'm thinking I might go over the background one more time just so the rabbit pops more. So I'm going to bring the white back around here. Maybe get a little water on my brush. There we go. And we'll knock this back just a little bit more. And if I cover up my big pen a little bit, it's okay. I can always add more lines. Whoops. Callie, do not bring a lizard in. Please. So if you've got little tiny scraps of paper and you don't know what to do with it and you just start tossing it, you can do this with it. Yeah, that's just what he needed. So a little bit more white in the background. Now this one I'll have to redraw his whiskers. Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that the lizards are really poisonous to cats, it wouldn't be so bad, but I don't like her getting them. One, she kills them for no reason whatsoever except to kill them. And then the other, it just makes her sick, so. She's already had her one lizard. I flushed it down the toilet. She took it in the bathroom for some reason. I don't know why she did that. She probably figured I wouldn't find it and she could play with it over and over, even when after it was gone. Good morning, Teresa, by the way. Yeah, that's what I think it needed, was the background knocked back just a little bit. I didn't have enough variation from the background to the foreground. And once the paint's dry, I'll go back over that whisker that's out from its face. I just wanted to come on and do this before the weather gets crazy. I'm right between the what were they calling it? High and severe. So I'm just where the two different levels of the storm are supposed to be, like the red and the pink. I'm in the more in the pink than in the red zone, but it still sounds like it's going to be one nasty storm. It's going to be a nasty storm, and then it's going to turn us off back cold, so it won't feel like spring. Oh, yeah, that's just what he needed. He just needed to be brought to the foreground a little more. So there's my little guy. And Heather, thanks. I also got some gel pens. Thank you for the goodies. Too cold. It is too cold for spring. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing how to do that. If you've never played around with this like kind of reverse type thing, you can see on this one what I did is after the background paint dried, I did systemic writing kind of over the background, and that's how I got all that busyness in my background. I also, once the paint was totally dry, I went in with colored pencil and just kind of went near my edges with some different greens. And I might do that with the bunny and just go over him, but this paint needs to be totally dry before I hit it with my colored pencils. I could probably do another live of adding the colored pencils if that's something you guys want to see. If it is, I can do that. I just don't want to keep you too long this morning, and then maybe Mary comes on Tuesdays. Maybe one day I'll see who's on, and if they're not on, I'll just pop on and I'll do the bit of where I work in the background stuff, and I add the colored pencils, I add a border, and we'll put a card together. That's what we can do. We'll take this to this in another video. How's that? So these were the ones I'd made before, and then this is the bunny we did today. And Teresa's getting ready for her doctor's appointment. So I will let you guys go. And the next video or the next live, we'll finish the bunny out into a card. So I'll let you guys catch up with that. Your 1,000,000-mile checkup. Well, I hope it goes really well. Hope it goes really well. All right, dear friends, I will let you go. I hope everybody has a wonderful week ahead. Try to stay warm and safe, please. We need you guys. Everybody that does this on YouTube, we need you. So please be safe and try to stay warm while we go through this crazy weather. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.